Nico Harrison has done it again. The Mavericks have made another move 2 days ahead of the 2025 NBA trade deadline. Welcome into Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. I'm Jeffrey Cooperstein. The Mavericks have traded Quentin Grimes and a second-round pick for Caleb Martin of the Philadelphia 76ers, who, ironically enough, the Mavericks play tonight, so you could see both of these players playing for their respective teams. Before we get into the show, this is why you subscribe. When the Mavericks make a move, we have you covered with a video. Hit that subscribe button right now. It's youtube.com/MavsTV. If the Mavericks do anything, whether it's a signing, whether it's a trade, we have you covered right here on the show. Here are the trade details, and it's pretty simple. The Mavericks received Caleb Martin, an all-around wing, in exchange for Quentin Grimes and a second-round pick. And ironically enough, this was Philadelphia's own second-round pick that the Mavericks had. So they just get that back here in 2025. And again, on the surface, this kind of looks like Nico Harrison got fleeced, given Grimes is the younger player and the Sixers get that second-round pick in exchange. But when you dig a little bit deeper, I really don't think this is that bad of a move for the Mavericks. Martin and Grimes are basically the same player. And when you take a look at their numbers, they really do a lot of similar things. Grimes averaging a point more per game. Martin averaging a half a rebound more. The shooting numbers are pretty similar. They're both having similar seasons. Caleb Martin's probably a little bit of a longer and more athletic defender than Grimes is, and that's what the Mavs are going for if you believe what Nico Harrison says, and I don't know why you should believe anything he says, but if you do believe what he says, they're looking for a defense and long athletic profiles, and that's what Caleb Martin is. The last 4 years, he's been pretty consistent, especially from three-point range, even though it's kind of gone down, although he's back up to almost 38% here. Look, I think this is a fine move. I don't think it's anything special, and I just think that they're trying to load up on defense. And the writing on the wall for Quentin Grimes was pretty evident when the Mavericks got Max Christie from the Los Angeles Lakers. Ironically enough, I think Christie and Martin have a lot of the same characteristics as well. But as soon as the Mavs made that the worst trade in NBA history, sending Luka to the Lakers and getting Max Christie back in return alongside Anthony Davis, Grimes' days were numbered. Grimes is a restricted free agent this summer. He's going to command north of $10, maybe even $12 million on the market. And so you get a guy in Caleb Martin who is cheaper than Grimes, who probably is a little bit of a better defender and just about the same caliber of shooter. So at the end of the day, it's a fine move. Doesn't move me one way or another. I think people just have Nico Harrison fatigue, including myself. Grade the trade for me, though, down in the comment section. We'll get to the rest of the video here in just a moment. Do you think it's an A, B, C, D, or F? I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say down there in the comments. And we will get to the rest of today's show here in just a moment, but I do need to tell you guys about our sponsor, which, of course, is PrizePicks. You guys know PrizePicks by now. We all love playing PrizePicks here at Chat Sports, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. They make daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just make more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. The big game is almost here, and it is now or never. Don't miss out on the last football game of the season with PrizePicks, the best place to win cash while watching the big game. PrizePicks is also giving away a free pick for the big game, where Patrick Mahomes will only need to throw 1 yard to win. If you're correct on at least one more projection, you can win some real cash. And also be sure to check out the promos tab to tail any of our Super Sweat Millie Winners big game lineups. If you tail a lineup that goes 3 for 3, you can win a split of up to $1 million in promo funds. PrizePicks is also the best place to get real money action in over 30 states, including California, Georgia, Florida, and, of course, Texas. How do you play PrizePicks? It's super easy. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get a $50 bonus when you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even have to win to receive that bonus. It is guaranteed. Again, download the app today and use code CLNS to get that $50 bonus when you play your first $5 lineup. It is PrizePicks. Run your game. As I mentioned earlier, Caleb Martin's contract, very affordable and is cheaper than what Quentin Grimes was going to get on the open market. Of course, Grimes was a free agent, so the Mavs would have had the right to match anything. But making about $8 million, $9 million in that final year with the player option. So it's extremely affordable. And I think once it became clear that the Mavericks weren't going to give Grimes the extension or the deal that he was going to get in free agency, they had to replace him. So they replaced him with Max Christie. They replaced him with Caleb Martin. And that's the decision that Nico Harrison came to. And Well, like I said, I don't hate this decision from Nico. I just think people are so angry with what's happened with this team over the last few days that their judgment's a little bit clouded. Yeah, on the surface, they had to give up a second round pick to go get Caleb Martin, but at the end of the day, I really don't think this is a bad move for the Mavericks to make, and I don't think this is the last move that the Mavericks are going to make either. We still sit 48 hours away from the NBA trade deadline, and I think I would be surprised if this was the final move that the Mavericks made, the final trade that they made in this trade deadline season. They've been very active, and they will continue to be active. I'm not sure what the next move is, but I would be surprised if they didn't make another one. Let me know what you guys think, though. Is this the last move that the Mavs make? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'm going to type my N for no, but let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Again, here are the trade details. The Mavericks are getting Caleb Martin from the Philadelphia 76ers for Quentin Grimes and a second-round pick. Yeah, giving up the second-round pick hurts, and you're jeopardizing your future there with the draft picks. The Mavericks don't seem too keen to keep any draft picks, though. They had to send out a second-round pick in the Luka trade as well that ended up in the hands of the Utah Jazz. And they send out a second-round pick here. They netted back a first from the Lakers, so you're net -1 draft picks over these last two trades, even though you got a first back, so that's okay. And like I said, Caleb Martin's deal is super affordable. $8.1 million this year, $8.5 next year, $8.9 the year after that, and then $9.3 with the player option in the final season. So if you really don't think Martin ends up fitting on this team, you can move him with ease because of that affordability. And he has shown consistency from the three-point line especially is what I really like. He's been over 35% from three, right at 35 last year, shooting 38 this year on 9 points. He gives you a little bit of rebounding as well, averaging 4.5 rebounds. So I think Martin's a decent fit. And at the end of the day, when Nico Harrison at his press conference explaining why he made the trade said defense wins championships, again, fully disagree with trading Luka Doncic, but you know what his profile is. And Caleb Martin is his profile of guy. He's a longer, more athletic guy than Quentin Grimes is. Could probably give you a little bit more defensive versatility where Grimes is defending 2s and 3s. Caleb Martin's probably defending more true 3s and maybe even some smaller 4s as well. So you get bigger in that department. It gives you a little bit more versatility where Martin could start at the 3. You could have PJ start at the 4, and then you could have Davis start at the 5. Or if you wanted to start Davis at the 4 alongside Lively or Gafford at the 5, you could have Martin come off the bench as well. So it definitely gives Jason Kidd some options as far as what he wants to do with this rotation. So we'll see what happens. I think it's an interesting move. It doesn't really move the needle for me one way or another. But nonetheless, the Mavericks traded for Caleb Martin. Anthony Davis not going to play tonight, by the way, dealing with that abdominal strain. May play Thursday in Boston or Saturday in at home against the Rockets. So he'll make his debut here soon. Max Christie is available to the Mavericks tonight. So that's your little bit of injury update there from the previous trade. But this is why you subscribe. Like I said earlier, if the Mavs make a move, we have you covered. It's youtube.com/MavsTV. Stay locked in. These next 2 days are going to be wild.